yesterday morning, something really, really tragic happened here in Uganda. Police confirmed the death of the State Minister for Labor, the retired Colonel Charles Okello Engola Machoduogo, who was shot by his bodyguard on Tuesday morning as we were here doing the show. So in the incident that happened at the minister's home in Kyanja, it is reported that the UPDF bodyguard went on a shooting spree and while airing out his grievances. The bodyguard apparently targeted the minister as he left home for work, and in the resulting melee, he first shot two of his fellow UPDF guards who were severely injured. And then this armed UPDF guard would later on turn the gun on the minister as he boarded his official vehicle to go to work before he turned the gun on himself. And so, of course, the speculation as to what his particular motives were. Some were saying he was complaining about unpaid wages, but it's hard to tell. Because, first of all, why would a bodyguard be attacking the minister for unpaid wages? I don't think if it's an official bodyguard, it's the minister that pays.
No, it's not the minister that pays. I mean, you're a UPDF soldier, so
Right.
it is the army that is supposed to pay you, and
Yeah.
it's the army that, what do you call that when you're placed somewhere?
Deployed.
It deploys them, yeah. So the minister has no... I mean, you can give someone a tip here and there, but honestly speaking, the salary is paid by the army.
I mean, it could be because it is the army, which is a branch of government. Perhaps there are some delays there, and it's possible he could have reached out to the minister for help, and maybe the minister didn't give him the response he wanted. But again, that kind of speculation is not helpful at this moment. Let's wait to learn some more facts.
The Speaker of Parliament actually said that the bodyguard had only been with the minister for a month. So probably if it is anything to do with salary and arrears, it is a grievance that he probably had prior, but then maybe, I don't want to call it depression, but whatever was pressing him reached a point of no return when he was in this home, and he ended up doing this and shooting his colleagues too.
So it is being claimed that eyewitnesses heard the soldier complaining that he'd not been paid for a long time.
Yeah.
Although the police spokesperson says it's still too early to speculate. So according to eyewitnesses, after killing his boss, the deceased soldier stormed out of the minister's residence while shooting in the air. He ran out of the gate, shooting in the air, prompting everyone to run for their dear life. The soldier later ran to a nearby salon, which was open, and it is there that he shot himself dead. Now, I saw Salvador tweeting out about, hey, someone has just been shot in a salon. So I don't know if maybe he hadn't yet heard of the minister that had been shot. So some people thought that there were different incidents involving different people.
No, he ran out of the residence after killing the minister, shooting in the air, like you said. And then he entered a nearby salon, asked the people that were in it to leave before he shoots them. Then when they went out, he shot himself.
Okay, well, I mean, on one hand, I'm glad that he didn't victimize anyone else.
Yeah.
The carnage could have been worse, but what do you think this is doing to many high-ranking officials who also have bodyguards? Do you think, and people were making jokes about
I
this.
saw the memes on Twitter.
About, now ministers are taking their bodyguards to lunch.
Rushing to give them salaries. But it's not ministers who pay these people.
Right.
I think the larger conversation we need to have, or the government needs to have, is to pay people in time.
True.
Because over the last few months, it's been said that many government workers have not been paid. I'm not sure about what's going on in UPDF. I don't know if it is the same predicament. But it is said that the government doesn't have money at the moment. So many people are not getting their salaries on time.
And maybe he felt disappointed that the person he was guarding did not do enough to advance his agenda and maybe obtain a salary for him.
Picture this. You work for a minister. You've not been paid for maybe a month or 2 or 3. And, he's a minister. So by virtue of his position, probably he lives large. He's having a good time. And sometimes, apart from maybe the food they are given, sometimes they have pressing issues. There is a time I was in an Uber and a policeman stops us. I thought it was a traffic thing. And then he wanted a ride to Acacia Mall. And as we gave him a ride, he kept saying, "Oh, my daughter is sick. I failed to get money. Now I'm going up country to see if my friends can lend me money. He was in full uniform.
Really?
Yes. And of course, I don't know the circumstances of his issues, but I'm like, maybe there are many like that.
You should have told him to be creative. Ask someone to lend you a traffic policeman's uniform and stand somewhere in Bukoto.
And find some trouble. Because
and stop cars
in Bukoto right before Victoria Hospital.
Really?
Yes.
Actually, that's a hot spot for traffic cops.
Mm-hmm. So when we were stopped, I thought he was a traffic cop.
Did he have on the white...
No, he didn't have those. He was holding a file because he said, I've been working all day. My daughter has cerebral malaria. I've left them in hospital.
Because these traffic guys, I think they make a killing. Every day, like when they're on operations, they can easily fetch $1 million a day just by stopping motorists and demanding.
But who do you think makes the money? Is it the cops or their supervisors or the
How do you think it works? Do you think they operate do you think they need to pay money to get the deployment?
I honestly don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Because I also know that there are a few incorruptible traffic officers. There is a lady who used to be...
Incorruptible?
Let me tell you something. There is a lady who used to be in Nakawa. Those days I used to use taxis. And you would hear taxi drivers saying, they brought back that woman. And one time I asked, why are you guys afraid? He was like, that woman is no nonsense and she doesn't take money.
She must be from West Nile.
I think places. She was, because NTV actually once did something like they had like a profile on her. She was incorruptible.
Oh.
But not the other sexy officer who used to be in Bukoto Chiraro. I don't know if it was corruptible, but Afande was hot.
Yeah.
Afande Sunday.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
So, ministers, obviously, and government officials, high-ranking military members, maybe even the president, all these people must be thinking to themselves, okay, am I safe now?
Mm-hmm.
How can I be sure that the guys who are guarding me, who are armed to the teeth, aren't going to turn their weapons on me?
And you know what's funny? The guy that was murdered by his bodyguard is a retired colonel. Like, how do you survive probably, I don't know if it was in the bush, you survive warfare, deployment, God knows where, only for you to be killed in your compound by a low-ranking bodyguard.
Can you imagine?
Life is weird.
What a tragedy.
I know.
What a terrible tragedy. But, I feel like you should always make sure that your askaris are, they need to be taken care of. Like if you have a company or you have whatever situation, if you're in a situation where you hire askaris, that is something you can never take for granted, or you can never take their welfare for granted, because should they ever feel frustrated, the first person they're going to look at is you.
But also, speaking of askaris, I realize that many of them are not fed. They're not given food
from their workplaces.
And what I've also learned is that, I don't know if you follow some of the incidents that happen. Most forex bureaus that have been broken into, it all started by askaris being given food laced with chloroform, because they are hungry. When someone gives them food, they can't turn it down.
So, but who would give them that food? Would it not come from the office kitchen?
No, not the office. Like, you're closed, it's around midnight, and this person comes, makes some, small talk with the askaris as if he cares, and then gives them food. There is an incident that happened like 3 months ago, and this time they just gave them biscuits. Imagine.
And the biscuits
they were laced.
Wow.
So feed your askaris. It's the least you can do.
Yeah, it's very important, eh? We're living in crazy times. Please do your best to stay safe.